Hey guys, it's your boy Just Spider J here, and today let's talk about being down bad. Everybody at least knows one person who was just down bad, and if you don't know, I'm sorry to sadly say, it might have been you. There's at least one person in each friend group who had the most down bad stories, and I already know what you're already thinking. Do you have any down bad stories? No, but I do know some stories. See, you may have heard some down bad stories yourself, but I'm here to tell you, my friend, you haven't heard anything, because the Leprechaun might have been the most down bad horror character of all time. You see, the Leprechaun has committed one of the most down bad crimes of all time. And I know you're gonna ask me, how can someone commit the most down bad crime of all time? Well, rule number one, don't be down bad. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you just can't do this, because what he did is literally not humanly possible. And the reason why I'm saying that is, well, you're gonna have to keep watching the video to see what happens. So lock in, twin. So let's get into it. So the movie starts off in Ireland, where the Leprechaun lives, and I guess this supposed to take place before the first movie, but the writers did a terrible job writing the timeline. So the first scene shows the Leprechaun slaves trying to escape from him, and his name is William O'Day. And William O'Day tried to steal the Leprechaun's gold, and that's why he's running around the forest trying to escape the Leprechaun. So the Leprechaun ends up catching Williams with his leprechaun powers and pretty much choking him with the lock that you see around his neck. So right after the Leprechaun catches Williams, you know this nigga Leprechaun, he has to shine this nigga's shoes. I already told you before in the last video, I believe he has some type of fetish, because at this point, he just be fiending for it. He just can't help himself. I mean, just look at him. He just can't help himself. He had to shine it. So the Leprechaun ended up telling Williams that today is his St. Patrick's Day, which is his birthday, and that he's gonna turn 1,000 years old. And when leprechauns turn 1,000 years old, they can get married. Hold up, wait. You mean to tell me if I was a leprechaun, I have to wait 1,000 years just to get married? I mean, at that point, I might as well just be a thought. So now the Leprechaun starts talking to the slave William like he's his homeboy or something. And then the Leprechaun ended up telling Williams that he found a woman that he's trying to marry, and start going into wild details on how she looks. And I'm not gonna lie, for a nigga who looked like this, he is way too damn excited for this. So if you want to hear what this nigga basically said and how he described the woman he's trying to marry, here you go.
Yeah, she was eyeballing me, cuz, when I was all up in her windowsill last night, but she got a nice body, though, cuz. Like a sexy-ass baked potato, homie.
If you thought that was worse, it gets worser, sadly. So I'm going to tell you how he goes about getting a wife. And this nigga does not have a regular plan. Instead, he just has his little magic tricks. Yes, magic tricks. And I already know what you're gonna ask. How he's going to do that? Well, he has to make her sneeze 3 times. Yes, 3 times. But wait, there is a way to stop it. All you gotta do is say God bless you right before the 3rd sneeze, and it won't happen. Now remind you, the Leprechaun is telling William all of this stuff while walking through the woods. So William ended up asking the Leprechaun, since I'm still a slave, will I be a slave to you when you get married? And he said no. Once that 3rd sneeze hit, you're free. So Williams didn't believe the Leprechaun on what he said about the sneeze and him being free. So the Leprechaun had to stand on business and show him by bowing down and saying the bow of the wee people. So right after that, Williams saw that the Leprechaun was being serious and ended up shaking this nigga hand. But you know, the Leprechaun, he might end up backdooring you anyway. I mean, just look at him. That handshake wasn't even serious. So now the leprechaun and the slave are hiding inside some bushes so the leprechaun can show the slave who he's trying to marry. But before the slave sees the woman, the slave ends up telling the leprechaun, well, you know what? I'll slide on anybody who try to stop this wedding from happening.
Man.
Like, nigga, how you gonna slide on somebody else? You couldn't even stop the leprechaun from chasing you. Let alone, nigga, you his slave. So the next scene shows a woman hanging up sheets up outside. Then the movie reveals the woman's face. Then the slave tells the leprechaun that the woman that he's talking about is his daughter. Yeah, I told you. It gets crazy. But this is not the end, because this is how the leprechaun responds to him saying that.
Fuck on me. Yeah. Baby, you know that I miss a little bitch from the A. You know that you love how I move.
Then the leprechaun tells the slave that we ought to be related. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, nigga, ew. Then the leprechaun proceeds to tell the slave that he'll be gentle with her on their wedding night. So the leprechaun proceeds to make the slave's daughter sneeze 3 times. But wait, right before the leprechaun tried to get the last sneeze, the slave said, God bless you. So right after that, the slave just took off running. And I cannot make this up. The leprechaun was just staring, like his life was just flashing in front of his eyes. This nigga was looking like Charleston White in that one clip. The leprechaun was in disbelief. Like, nigga, how could you? But what you expect? Nigga, you told this nigga your secret plan. And you told him how to stop it. So basically, the leprechaun was on some Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz shit. Then the leprechaun grabbed this nigga neck in midair and choking this nigga like he's Darth Vader with the force choke. So when the leprechaun had this nigga up in midair, and the leprechaun tells the slave, you may have saved your daughter, but on me 1000th birthday, I will stalk your fairest offspring and make her my wife. This nigga, the leprechaun, just basically told the slave that he gonna wait 1,000 years for his next descendant. Nigga, how down bad can you really be? Like, the leprechaun needs to be locked up inside of the inner earth core for being this down bad. I mean, just imagine hearing that before you die at the hands of the leprechaun. Nigga, I'd be confused. So right after that, pretty much, the leprechaun ended up killing the slave. Just snapped his neck right then and there. And oh yeah, let me show you proof that this nigga was dead serious. This nigga really pulled out a whole scroll full of all the generations from O'Day and Bridget. And I know the slave William O'Day is looking down upon the leprechaun as he pull up that scroll. I know that nigga like, So 1,000 years have passed since the leprechaun situation, and now we got our first 2 main characters, Bridget and Cody. So the first scene starts off with Cody and him being at his job, and his job is just him being a horror tour guide. So Cody managed to finesse these 2 couples, and then he ended up rage baiting this other couple, well, really just a dude. He was going into details of saying that if you're not with this tour guide, then you might as well just go get some ice cream down the street. So the dude pretty much falls for the rage bait and end up paying Cody the money for the tour guide. So now Cody and Bridget can hang out for the rest of the afternoon. But before they do that, Cody gotta go find his Uncle Morty so he can do the tour guide so Cody and Bridget can hang out for the rest of the afternoon. So Cody and Bridget goes to Morty's house to see if he was home, but he wasn't there. So Cody ended up finding a piece of paper that said Happy St. Patrick's Day. Cody ended up knowing that Marty was at the bar getting drunk, and this nigga was at the bar getting drunk. You see, this nigga Morty is just built different because he was trying to make this dude invest in his horror tour guide franchise, and Morty talking about he could turn death into dollars. But you would think that this nigga was talking to somebody for real. But this nigga Morty was talking to a nigga who wasn't even responding. This nigga had his head down the whole time. Then this nigga Morty grabbed this man's head and moved it up and down just so it seemed like this man is agreeing to the things that Morty was saying, knowing damn well this man is knocked out cold. I'm just shaking my head at this point. Cause what the hell is wrong with this man Morty? I mean, just look at him. This is the face of a man that don't give a So basically Cody and Bridget end up finding Morty at the bar. And then Morty start talking to Cody about that he found another shareholder. Like, nigga, you could tell this nigga Cody did not care what this nigga was talking about. So Morty felt like it's time to celebrate and asked the bartender, can he get another drink? So Morty ended up drinking the shot and then ended up spitting it out. And the reason for that is because the bartender ended up giving this nigga straight water instead of alcohol. And then Morty was like, how dare you? And then this nigga ended up passing out because he drunk too much. And this is a grown ass man, by the way. So the next scene, Marty's in the bathroom trying to sober up and end up pulling his head out the water and say he's sober. And I guess Cody was like, all right, cool. And this nigga put his head right back under the water. Like, this nigga Morty is not serious. Like, damn, my nigga Cody can't even hang out with his girl because this nigga Morty playing too much. So Cody ended up handing Morty the money. So Cody ended up telling Morty that he basically finessed 2 couples for the deluxe package. And this nigga Morty said, just 2? Then he said, you're slipping, kid. If I was Cody in that moment, I would've. Like, I'm slipping? Nigga, you the drunkie. So right after that, Cody was basically like,
I wanna say, fuck you. Oh, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you. Fuck, 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 fuck.
So now my nigga Cody gotta do the tour guide because Marty is too wasted. So now Cody's driving in a hearse and Bridget being salty because Cody has to give the tour guide. She was so mad that she ended up mixing this man cards for the tour guide. So Bridget ended up giving him the card. And when she gave him the card, this nigga started reading the card and then he noticed like, wait, this ain't the right card. Bridget was dead wrong for doing that. Like, damn, let my boy Cody do his job. So Bridget ended up giving Cody the right card. And right before Cody started reading the card, a old black woman came with a bucket and poured the water on top of the hearse. And first of all, why Bridget look like that? She look like she better hop out the car and square up with the old lady right now. You can't even blame the old black lady. Like, you put up to her house with a hearse. What you expect? And first of all, us black people don't like hearses, especially the ones that pull up to their house. That's like saying Jesus ready for you to come home. So they end up driving off real fast. So Cody ended up going to an actual real haunted house. So it was Harry Houdini's house. So Cody started actually reading the cards and getting into character and everything. And he ended up scaring the passengers. I mean, not really. It was a homeless man that jumped in front of the window and scared the passengers. So Cody just pulled off because them niggas was scared. And the homeless man just walked off like he didn't just scare everyone inside the car. Then he randomly went inside some woods. But it wasn't like a random woods. It was pretty much Harry Houdini's woods or backyard. I don't know. So the homeless man decided to drink his alcohol and go to sleep. And then he puts it down. But then out of nowhere, it started moving by itself. And then he started reaching to see where it was at. And then the homeless man wakes up and realizes it's inside the tree. So he goes inside the tree and start yanking it back and forth. And nothing really was coming out. Pause. So the homeless man ended up pulling way too hard. And this nigga ended up falling on the ground. So then the homeless man started rubbing his eyes to see if he was tweaking or not, because he ended up watching the leprechaun pretty much pop out of a tree. And then the leprechaun had the aura form. And I'm not gonna lie, the leprechaun had aura until he drank the homeless man Canadian whiskey. Then it was downhill from there. So right after that, the leprechaun ended up seeing the homeless man's gold too. And you already know what's about to happen. When the leprechaun sees that gold, it's over. That nigga turns into a fiend. So the leprechaun ended up giving the homeless man a free dental plan. Then he rips the tooth right out of his mouth. Like, damn, you didn't wash your hands before you put your hands inside the bum mouth? Ugh, like God forbid, if that happens to anybody who have gold. Like, you don't know where this nigga leprechaun hands been at? So the leprechaun ended up pulling the homeless man's tooth out his mouth. Then the leprechaun was like, oh yeah, don't forget to rinse and just pour alcohol down this nigga's mouth. So the leprechaun puts the little gold tooth inside of his little bucket of gold. Meanwhile, Cody basically ended up driving to the go-kart place right after they got scared of the homeless man. And I told you, Bridget was being salty because he had to do the tour. And she was like the first person to get out the hearse. So my boy Cody had to hop out the hearse and follow her. So Bridget walks into the go-kart place. And soon as she seen this nigga Ian, she started smiling. So she don't want to talk to my nigga Cody no more because he had a job to do. And she just wanted to hang out at the go-kart place all day. If I was Cody, I would have told her like, damn, change of plans happen sometimes. But right after that, Cody pretty much tried to talk to Bridget. And before he even says one word, a damn dog come out of nowhere and scare everybody. The whole time, it was Ian dog. So Ian tells Cody and Bridget that it was his dog that he works with. And then end up putting his arms around Bridget and then said this corny ass line talking about, oh, let's start up her engine. And then just walk off. Ian had my boy Cody looking slump. So Cody ended up letting Bridget stay with Ian because he told Bridget that after he gives the tour guide, he'll come back and pick her up. But Bridget being salty about the whole situation, she said,
I'll just let one of the guys from the go-kart take me home.
Then my boy Cody tells Bridget, hey, next time, it'll be different. And then she says,
what makes you think it's gonna be a next time?
No! 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 No!
see, when a girl tell you that, you already know what that means. So Cody decided to pretty much finish the tour guide, but see, my boy Cody is actually mad now because he had an argument with Bridget. So now he's not even taking the tour guide even serious like he was before. So everybody in the back seat start complaining about the tour guide, and that's when my boy Cody started seeing red. You see, Cody started crashing out and ended up running a red light.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy.
So Morty ended up picking up Cody from the police station. And right after that, they sat down. But before they even start talking, the homeless nigga that got his tooth pulled by the leprechaun, he pretty much tried to tell the police a description on the person who took his tooth. So he went into detail, saying that he has little gold buckles on his shoes and he wears a top hat. Yeah, the police didn't take this nigga serious. And the funny thing about this is, Cody told Morty, you see that? If you don't start drinking, you'll start seeing little green men. So the next open up scene shows the leprechaun using his homemade compass to find Bridget. So as he using the compass, a random dude with a tuxedo throws a quarter on the ground because he think the leprechaun was doing some type of trick with his homemade compass. So the leprechaun picks up the quarter, and the way the leprechaun was looking at the quarter, you would have thought the man gave him a mixtape. I mean, just look at him.
What is this?
So the guy in the suit tells the leprechaun,
It's a quarter. What you expect?
why did he tell the leprechaun that? Cause look at this nigga face.
Really, nigga?
So the leprechaun was like, I don't want this nasty behind quarter, and then end up throwing it. So the leprechaun ended up telling the dude in the suit,
Your gold would be nice.
so he ended up handing the leprechaun his business card, and then the leprechaun saw his gold ring. So the leprechaun proceeds to grab the man's hand and pull his finger right off his hand. And then the leprechaun proceeds to say the most diabolical thing I ever heard.
Finger looking good.
Yeah, this nigga's clinically insane. So meanwhile, Ian took Bridget back home, and then he asked Bridget,
Hey, didn't you say your parents wasn't home?
and then Bridget told him,
So,
and then Ian asked her,
Can I come in?
and then Bridget said,
I'm still in a relationship with Cody.
and then this nigga Ian say,
I thought y'all called it a quits.
so Bridget ended the whole conversation right after she said,
Good night, Ian.
then Ian brought out the fact that he took off of work for her and that he bought her some chili dogs. If you think a woman's gonna go for some chili dogs, nigga, you out your rabbit damn mind. Long story short, Bridget ended up punching Ian in the stomach for being a jerk. So right after that, Ian ended up calling her a tease. Then he tried to leave, but ended up hearing Bridget call his name. And then he ended up seeing Bridget in the garage. And Bridget tells him,
I'm so sorry what I did to you, and I want to make it up to you.
so you already know what's about to happen. This horny nigga folded. Well, that led to his death, sadly. But he didn't have just a regular death. You see, the leprechaun was the reason for it. He made Ian think that he was talking to Bridget the whole time, even to the point where she was undressing herself. But the whole time, this nigga was in front of a lawnmower. So you already know what's about to happen.
Fatality.
So the next scene shows my boy Cody apologizing to Bridget about the go-kart place situation. So now that everybody's back being happy with each other, here comes the leprechaun creeping through the window. I got so many questions about this scene, because how Bridget didn't see him? Because her head was facing towards the leprechaun. Like, look at the leprechaun. He knew that she saw him, so the leprechaun was not able to be seen for some reason. And then this nigga was like, know what? This is the perfect time for me to start doing my little evil plan. So he makes her sneeze one time. Then Bridget goes into the kitchen and pretty much try to put the flowers inside of a vase. Then out of nowhere, she sneezes again. Then Cody suggests that she put the flowers in another room so that she'll stop sneezing. And here comes the leprechaun, being the little deviant that he is. So the leprechaun was like, I'm not gonna let this happen like last time. This is my only last shot. So he makes Bridget sneeze 3 times. Then Cody tried to say, God bless you. But the leprechaun was like, So he made the phone cord wrap around my boy Cody's mouth. Pause. So Cody managed to grab a knife to cut the phone cord. Then the leprechaun popped out of nowhere from the corner. Then this nigga was like,
How you whores doing today? Hi. I go by the name of Black Youngster. I was in 3 letters CMG Heavy Camp. You see? It's my shit. What's up? I ain't want none. I just kind of tell you I was back, bitch.
Now look at the leprechaun face as he revealed himself. Now take a good look at Bridget's face. Yeah, the leprechaun is super chopped. Imagine that being your first impression around the highs. Like, damn, nigga, chill, you're scaring the highs. So Cody tries to stab the leprechaun with a knife, and then the leprechaun uses magic powers and make the pans fall on top of his head. Now my boy Cody is knocked out after the pans fell on top of this nigga head. So Bridget tried to make her run for it to the front door. Then she ended up seeing Ian's dead body as she opened the door. And as this is happening, the leprechaun is way too excited for this shit. I mean, look at this nigga. Like, way too excited. Look at his face. This little nigga looked like a kid getting V-bucks for the first time. Then the leprechaun says,
It's not a proper wedding without a wedding ring.
Then the leprechaun was like, hold on, shawty. Let me get my pot of gold and give you this golden ring type shit. So the leprechaun finds his pot of gold. Then he throws a ring on it, literally. Nigga threw the damn lock around her neck like it was some type of goddamn frisbee. So then the leprechaun used his magical force powers to pull Bridget towards him. And then he tried to make his way to kiss Bridget. But right before he got to, Bridget knocked over his whole pot of gold. Then one of the gold coins rolled into Cody's hand. Then Bridget was able to grab Cody so they can run from the leprechaun. So Bridget and Cody try to make their way into the living room. And then the leprechaun hit my boy Cody in the leg with a little hammer. So now Bridget is at the leprechaun house. And then the leprechaun tells Bridget,
I know the place doesn't look homey, but you would change that.
And then the leprechaun tells Bridget to look at his bed. And you already know what that means.
Is this nigga serious?
Yeah, that shit had Bridget face shocked too. And then the leprechaun tells her, I've been waiting 1,000 years for this. Like I said, this man gotta be the most down bad character of all time. Then the leprechaun tells Bridget that he finally married at Old Day. And then Bridget tells the leprechaun, I'm not Old Day, you have the wrong person. And then the leprechaun tells Bridget,
Old Day is in your blood. I can smell it.
Like, huh? This nigga is down bad for real. So the leprechaun tells Bridget, let me get you a drink so I can get you in the mood. Oh no. So the leprechaun poured himself a drink, and then Bridget picks up a random rock and then whack his ass in the back of the head with a rock. So Bridget takes off running, and then she pretty much end up seeing a skeleton and got frightened. Then the leprechaun tells Bridget, oh, this is just a family reunion. And then he says, you have his cheekbones. And then the leprechaun brings up the fact that he liked that Bridget is frisky. This nigga, the leprechaun, really thinks Bridget is playing hard to get. Like, nigga, she's genuinely scared of your ass. Then the leprechaun was like,
I like playing games too.
Then the leprechaun says,
let's play a game. Bedtime for Bridget. Yeah.
Then the leprechaun uses magic powers to wrap Bridget in his blanket. Now Bridget magically falls on the leprechaun's bed. So now this is how shit gets really weird. The leprechaun tells Bridget that basically she's gonna have his babies, and that she needs to change her physical human form so that the leprechaun babies won't try to eat her, I guess, or kill her. Yeah. I'm just as confused as you is. Then the leprechaun was like, hold on, shawty, let me show you how I'm really balling real quick. So the leprechaun proceeds to pour his gold on Bridget's body and then start rubbing it on her stomach, talking about, let's make love on leprechaun's gold. This nigga is way too freaked out for me. Just plain on nasty at this point. Before I tell you what happens next, I'ma need you, yes, you, the one who's watching this screen right now. If you've been watching for this long, don't lie. You have. I'm going to need you dudes and dudettes to hit that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications so you will be notified when I do everything at once and call it a regular upload. I'm gonna need you to hit, and I mean hit, that like button. I am not the biggest YouTuber on this platform, so you guys spam up with the likes, and I very much appreciate if you guys enjoy my content. Alright, let's get back to the video. Now, shit gets really wicked, and I mean wicked. Because as he was rubbing the gold on Bridget's stomach, he noticed one thing. One of his gold coins was missing. Then this nigga starts seeing red. So the leprechaun was like,
fuck all that love shit, where's my gold coin?
So the leprechaun proceeds to put his gold back inside his pot. And then Bridget tells the leprechaun that she'll do anything now that she's his wife. So the leprechaun gives Bridget a wedding dress. And then the leprechaun proceeds to stop what he's doing before he get ready to leave and licks her on the face.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
So the next scene shows Bridget's house with the police there, and now they blaming my boy Cody for Ian death. So the leprechaun managed to get the card with Cody's name on it. So now Cody is at Morty's house telling him lore about the leprechaun, and Morty ain't trying to hear that shit. Morty was like, I think I should have called the police because nigga, what? And remind you, Morty knows that the police is accusing Cody for Ian's death and the fact that Bridget is missing too. So all this leprechaun stuff is not even helping his case. Got Morty looking at him like this. So Cody tells Morty about the whole little tale about the leprechaun and how he claimed to the last, and by daybreak she was never seen again. And then Cody tells Morty, and that's why he has Bridget. And Morty tells Cody, leprechauns don't exist. And then this happened. So the leprechaun pops out of nowhere. Then the leprechaun tells Morty, leprechauns don't exist, and then hit him in the head. Damn, the leprechaun down there knocked his head off. So the leprechaun tells Cody that he been looking for his gold coin. Then Cody try to make a run for it, and then he end up seeing this nigga leprechaun by a bookcase talking about, you know what I want. And then the leprechaun tells Cody that he'll trade Bridget for that one gold coin. Now me personally, and you know damn well the leprechaun is not gonna do that. Cody dumbass don't. He actually tried to give the Leprechaun the gold coin. I mean, look at the Leprechaun. You really think he gonna trade Bridget for that one gold coin? So right before Cody gives the Leprechaun the gold coin, Morty comes in and puts the bookcase over. So Morty and Cody make it to the balcony, and then the Leprechaun end up grabbing Cody's leg, and then he end up kicking the Leprechaun down. But right after that, the iron bars fell right back down, and then the Leprechaun touched him, and then they end up burning his hands. And the reason for that is because one of the Leprechaun's weakness is rotten iron. So Cody and Morty end up running into a bar right after the Leprechaun situation. So Cody and Morty end up seeing the police there at the bar. So Morty helps Cody sneak inside the bathroom, since the fact that the police been looking for Cody. So now they're in the bathroom, and now Morty believes Cody that the Leprechaun is real. So now they're trying to figure out a plan to get Bridget back. Then Morty says that he's smarter than the Leprechaun, and then walks out the bathroom. And then Cody asks him, "Nigga, where are you going?" And then this nigga says, "I'm going to get a drink." My boy Cody should have known not to bring Morty to the damn bar. All he want to do is get drunk. So Cody finds Morty at the bar. So Cody brings up the fact that the drunkie at the police station said that the Leprechaun stole his gold tooth, and that he came from out of the Houdini's tree, and that's where Bridget is at. But see, Morty wasn't even listening to this nigga Cody talking about the Leprechaun, because he was just looking into blank space. Then Cody tried to grab Morty's attention, and then Morty tells Cody he's here. Oh no, I know what that face means. That's the same look my mama used to give me before she whipped my ass. So Cody tried to tell Morty, let's go, even though the Leprechaun is right there in front of them. But you see, it was too late, because the Leprechaun reappeared right behind Morty, and then told Morty and Cody,
have I mentioned that I want me gold?
Then Cody tells the Leprechaun, not until we get Bridget back. Then the Leprechaun responded, Bridget? Don't you know she's a married woman now?
Is this nigga serious?
Married woman? The Leprechaun deadass think that he's married to Bridget. This nigga acting like he been actively in a relationship with her for like 4 or 5 years. So now Cody wanna square up with the Leprechaun after making that comment about Bridget. So Morty was like, hold up, let me handle this. So Morty grabs everybody's attention at the bar. Then he said, I wanna make a toast to my little buddy who just got married. And then the Leprechaun looking at Morty like, nigga, are you up to something? And then realize in the midst of it, maybe he's being genuine. So he agreed on what he was saying. So now Morty pulls the Leprechaun a drink. And then Morty said, what's the problem? Then he brings up the myth that leprechauns can't hold their liquor. Then he tells the Leprechaun that there's nothing wrong with that, and maybe he should drink some lemonade. So now everybody's just laughing. So the Leprechaun was like, bet. So he drinks the shot that Morty gave him, but he didn't feel anything because it is just the first shot. Then he turned around and he saw everybody cheering for him. And then Morty was like, now it's my turn. Remember when Morty was drinking too much at the beginning of the movie and the bartender gave him water instead? Well, that was his plan, and it worked. So now all the little people are cheering on the Leprechaun. Why did they do that? So now the Leprechaun is feeling himself. Then he said, fuck it, I'ma just jug the whole goddamn thing of liquor. So long story short, the Leprechaun ended up getting wasted. And I'm talking about super wasted. So now that the Leprechaun is wasted, he tries to make an ashtray float and hit Morty in the head, but it failed. So now Morty thinks it's okay to start making jokes about this nigga being drunk. Nigga said, don't anybody ever tell you not to drink and levitate? So Cody was like, nigga, this is not the time to be making jokes right now. We need to be going to get Bridget. So as this nigga Morty talking to the Leprechaun, you could tell by the Leprechaun face that he was plotting some devious shit. So the Leprechaun looks at the jukebox table and start flipping the pages. So he had these niggas looking at the jukebox table. Then the Leprechaun was like, now it's my turn. So the Leprechaun decides to hit Morty in the head.
Psych!
So now the Leprechaun is at an espresso bar trying to sober up. So the dude who works at the espresso bar tells the Leprechaun, St. Patrick's Day is over. I gotta close up the shop. So the Leprechaun didn't want to hear all that. So the espresso guy start making jokes about the Leprechaun, you know, being a part of Santa Claus' little elves. And then the Leprechaun was like, nigga, I ain't no damn elf, I am a leprechaun. So the espresso guy was like, I don't care if you was a tooth fairy. I just want you to give me some money so I can close up the shop. Then the Leprechaun was like,
so it's me gold that you want?
And then the espresso guy was like, yeah, gold card, Visa, Masters. This nigga just started naming all type of different forms of currency. And then this nigga still went on to make more jokes about the Leprechaun. And then he started laughing at the Leprechaun and then said, you kill me. Why did he tell the Leprechaun that? Because you and me already know what's about to happen.
Fatality.
The next scene shows Cody and Morty next to the wrought iron safe so they can put the Leprechaun in it. So Cody and Morty try to move the safe, but so Morty brings up the fact that it's too heavy to move. And then Morty tells Cody to find something like a ramp. So Morty tells Cody that he's gonna go outside and get the hearse so they can put the safe inside of the hearse. So Morty end up getting arrested by the security guard, and then the security guard tells Morty that he tripped off the silent alarm. So the security guard walks into the building, and then the security guard looks inside the closet, and Cody wasn't there. But see, this nigga Cody was hiding on top of the ceiling. Then he was relieved that the security guard didn't see him. Then the Leprechaun popped out in front of this nigga. Like, damn, thanks for the jump scare. So Cody falls through the ceiling. So meanwhile, the police officer get a bribe from Morty, and then the police officer helped Morty with the handcuffs. And then this nigga Morty decided to hit the police with a one-punch knockout like Mike. Wait. So right after that, the Leprechaun appeared to Morty and asked him, have you seen the boy? And then Cody popped up with the gold coin. And then the Leprechaun looked down where Cody was standing and realized it's a doggy door in there. So the Leprechaun just hops in, and then Cody proceeds to close the wrought iron door. And then Morty pops up and tells Cody that they need a ramp so they can put it inside the hearse. So Cody proceeds to go inside the closet and get the 2x4s that he said he seen. So right before Cody even gets inside the closet, Morty comes right behind him and locks the door. But see, ever since Morty found out the Leprechaun is real, this nigga been wanting to ask the Leprechaun for some wishes. So Morty ended up asking the Leprechaun for the wishes, and he got them, but not exactly how he wanted it. See, he asked for the pot of gold, but he didn't give too much of a description on how he wanted it. See, the Leprechaun was like, oh, you want my pot of gold? Bet. The Leprechaun made the pot of gold appear in Morty's stomach. So now Morty is screaming and yelling to the Leprechaun, telling him to take it out of him. Pause. So the Leprechaun asked Morty, is that your wish? And he told him yes. And Morty had to wish the Leprechaun out of the rotten iron safe. But it's technically not a wish because this nigga had to actually grant that shit himself. So Morty ended up dying because the Leprechaun had to cut open his stomach for the gold.
Fatality.
So Cody get caught by the police next to Morty's dead body. So the police start hearing the Leprechaun's mimic voice and assuming that it's a little girl. So he takes Cody to the race car track. And then the Leprechaun popped out with his own little go-kart. Who this nigga think he is? Mario? So the Leprechaun pretty much killed the police by running this nigga over.
Fatality.
So the Leprechaun tried to run over Cody, but it failed because he just phased right through him. So Cody now realized that the gold coin is what's saving him. So he gets up right after the Leprechaun disappears, and then he yells out that he's gonna save Bridget, and then he says he know where the Leprechaun lives. So now the Leprechaun is at home now, waiting for this nigga Cody to come over. And then the Leprechaun realized, where is Bridget? So Bridget popped up with the red dress, and I'm not gonna lie, the Leprechaun was too stunned to speak. It got so bad to the point where this nigga start using Bridget as a therapist, talking about it's been a long millennium for me and that he has no one to care for his needs. Is this nigga serious? This nigga did not realize that he's a kidnapper. As the Leprechaun is using Bridget as a therapist, he's not realizing that she's playing game on this nigga. So Bridget try to pick up an ice pick and stab this nigga in the back of the back. And then the Leprechaun turn around and looks at Bridget all surprised at the fact that she tried to stab him with an ice pick. I mean, look at the leprechaun. He really thought Bridget was his wife. This nigga got his legs crossed like he had a goddamn spa. Just for a moment, the leprechaun thought he was living the dream. So the leprechaun can hear Cody park his car. So Cody managed to get inside the tree where the leprechaun lives. So now he's inside the cave and he see Bridget with the lock around her neck. So Cody just standing and looking at Bridget, and then out of nowhere, a whole bunch of green little bugs start crawling on the top of this nigga head. So Cody decides to just run away so the bugs can pretty much get off of him. And as he turned around, the leprechaun just popped up behind this nigga. See, if I was that nigga Cody, I would have grabbed the leprechaun by his head and hit him with one of these. So Cody runs back in the cave, and then this nigga see a skeleton and got frightened. What frustrates me the most is this nigga acting like the skeleton got more strength than he do. All you gotta do is push the goddamn skeleton down and the shit breaks off like Legos. So this nigga Cody managed to get away from the skeleton. So as he walks into where Bridget was at, this nigga end up dropping down into a thorn nest. Because the whole time, it was a leprechaun playing psychological games with Cody. The leprechaun must think he's fucking Scarecrow from Arkham Knight Batman. So Cody managed to get out of that situation, and then he runs back to Bridget. So now Cody and the leprechaun having a face off over Bridget. And then the leprechaun was like, "What you gonna do, nigga? Beat me up in my own house?" So right before the leprechaun and Cody about to fight, Bridget takes the lock that the leprechaun put around her neck and throws it at the leprechaun's head.
Oh, hell no!
He needs some milk!
Damn, Bridget really just exposed the leprechaun hairline. Like, I couldn't recover after that, me personally. Because right after that, this would have been me. And then I would have had to grab Cody and Bridget and hit them with one of these.
Oh, no.
But you would think the leprechaun would do something like that. But no, this nigga decided to play hide and go seek. So now Cody and Bridget run away from the leprechaun in the cave. You see, the leprechaun must have been watching Itachi, because the leprechaun managed to pull off an Izanami, because the leprechaun had these niggas inside of an infinity loop. So Cody and Bridget decided to go in the middle of the cave, and then they went right back again at the same part of the cave. Then they went back again. But you would think that they would have learned their lesson the second time. But no. Then Cody came out the cave by himself. And I don't even know how the hell that even happened, because Cody and Bridget was holding hands before they even entered the cave. Because when in the hell did Cody even have time to let go of Bridget's hand? So Cody decided to go back again to find Bridget. Then he ended up finding her. And then she ended up telling him, "I think I found the way how to get out of here. But first, we need to give the leprechaun his gold." And if it was just me in that moment, I would have knew right then.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
But then this nigga Cody decided to kiss Bridget. But the whole time, it was the leprechaun. All I got to say is, gay. So the leprechaun proceeds to push Cody with his force-field magic. So Bridget runs to Cody's dead body and then tells the leprechaun, "Is it over? Is it really over?" So now the leprechaun has the gold coin, and now he got Bridget. But wait, you thought this was gonna be the end? Psych! So Cody comes back to life. Then he ends up stabbing the leprechaun with the wrought iron. Then the leprechaun realized the whole time he had a fake gold coin. Like, damn, you basically just kissed Cody for no reason. So Cody tells the leprechaun that the gold coin was basically just chocolate. So now the leprechaun pretty much blows up right after Cody stabbed him with the wrought iron. Now Cody and Bridget made it out of the cave, and then Bridget asked Cody, "How you know it wasn't me?" And Cody told her, "Oh yeah, cause you kiss different." Yeah, right. Cody gets the gold coin and tossed the shit into the damn sand. If I was him, I wouldn't even do that. I would just kept the gold coin, because it was the only thing keeping this nigga alive the whole movie. Yeah, this is stupid. Moral of the story is, just don't be down bad.
Don't let nobody tell you different. You know, keep your head up. Feeling in my heart, I can never waste it. I've been sitting back and being really patient. And all these fuck bitches, all they want is paper. It's kinda funny how things just keep on changing. I can't worry about nobody, how they feeling. I can't worry about this feeling that I'm changing. I gotta burn these bridges just for me to live in. It's called peace. I sometimes I can never get it, cause it be heavy.